Hi there. Hi there, and welcome to episode 74 of the ADHD Adults podcast. I'm James Brown, the man whose head, continually aches. And as usual, I'm joined by the cause of my headaches, Dr. Alex Connor, and the woman who has far too many headaches whenever I feel frisky, Mrs. ADHD. I'm not sure what the opposite of ding is.
No.
Okay. Hi, Alex.
Not tonight, James. I've got a headache.
This fun. We're all together.
We're in the same room.
This is not.
I can touch James.
Oh God, this is not going to go well. And Sam, hi.
Hiya.
Good. How are you both, Mrs. ADHD first?
Bit shit. It's rag week, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is rag week, and of course, you, as we'll talk about in Thursday's episode, you tend to think that the mood you're in now is the mood you'll always be in, don't you?
Alex's face was disgusted.
And Alex, he says tiredly, "How are you?"
I'm excellent, thank you, James. I'm so happy to be here in person. There's no logic to it, but we keep having supersized Monday figures. Well, I say figures. I don't actually understand how it works, so I just base it on how I feel about the numbers rather than actual numbers.
Oh, you have feelings. Oh, well done. Where did you get those?
Well, hot and cold. One of the supersized figures sends us a letter.
Is it 14?
What, the figures?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So the letter's from I'm just going to check.
Oh Jesus.
Robert from Kidderminster, James.
Yeah.
It says,
That's close to
I know.
penis, wasn't it? Okay. Was it really?
it says, reading it, when you did a podcast on smartphones, James forgot to mention that he's watched so many mucky sites on his phone that it caught an actual virus instead of a computer one. Thanks, Jay.
That's actually true.
The only funny thing about that was mucky sites.
Mucky site.
Yeah. Brilliant.
We've had a real letter.
Okay.
I'm going to read it out. James checked this for us, or Sandy, and we can use her name. So, hello, James, Alex, and Mrs. ADHD. I was diagnosed with ADHD back in October. I was so worried that I wouldn't get a diagnosis that I didn't let myself start listening to your podcast until then, as I felt too much like an imposter. God, I've heard that so much. Since then, your podcast has taught me so much. I understand myself and my life immeasurably better than before, and I can't thank you enough. The podcast has helped me come to terms with my diagnosis and start working toward emotional acceptance, blah, blah, blah. I love it. In one of the first few episodes, I tuned out for a few seconds, and when I tuned back in, I realised what I had done and was really annoyed with myself. Then one of you said that you hadn't been listening either. It made me feel so, probably definitely James also. It made me feel so accepted and normal for the first time ever, and I've loved the podcast ever since. When I'm having a difficult time, your podcasts are like a port in a storm. Listening to you guys and laughing along never fails to make me feel better. I've just caught up to your most recent episode, and I'm sad I now have to wait a few days to get a new installment of my favourite thing. So please keep doing what you're doing. You're helping so many people. Isabel.
Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you, Isabel.
Yeah, really, really like them, don't we?
Yeah.
Also, internationally, by an unbelievable coincidence, we're still seeing one country added to our diverse listenership. Although about half of those countries have just one listen. We're up to 142 countries. What a week.
Wow.
This one is James, you stitched me right out.
What's he done?
It's one where Pidgin English is one, and oh god, this one is Vanuatu, which has 3 official languages. So, hello and good meeting you.
Amazing. I really hope you got that right.
I'm cancelled.
I really hope you are. Anyway, as usual, this airline bag of peanuts, the same size as Alex's scrotum of a podcast, is a tragedy in 3 parts. We choose a theme. Last week we talked about smartphone use and addiction, and this week we're focusing on the first of what's going to be a series, which probably won't be released regularly, of episodes about the weird and wonderful non-psychiatric coexisting conditions of ADHD. And that's going to be headaches and migraines. As usual, the 3 parts include bollock face here, Alex, the psycho education monkey droning
Emphasis on psycho.
Yeah, about ADHD and headaches.
Hello.
Probably just my personal reflections on the topic, as I have lots of them. And then the third and final part will be some top tips, or as it's now apparently morphed into spunk trumping. So there'll be some of that. So, Alex, just the sound of your voice can cause cluster headaches in a 3-mile radius. Tell us about ADHD and headaches.
Righto. Pretty much everyone will have experienced a headache normally in life, and especially if they have to spend any time with you, James. So it seems odd to start with an actual definition, but there are loads of different types of headaches.
Maybe it's me
Causing his headache.
causing his migraines.
Causing mine.
Sorry, carry on.
It is worth doing a definition of headaches. Common types of headaches include, but aren't limited to, tension, cluster headaches, migraines, thunderclap, and slapping your thigh, hormone headache, often known as menstrual migraine, caffeine headache, hypertension, high blood pressure, that is, headache, and rebound headache.
Just apologies to anybody out there that ever gets a rebound headache. The way in which Mrs. ADHD just laughed at your affliction.
I thought it was like
A rebound,
when you move on from one headache to another one. Sorry.
So the most common causes, primary or first headaches, are probably tension headaches and also migraine. Of these, migraine headache probably requires a particular special mention as, well, actually because James wrote that bit of the script, but also because it's particularly debilitating.
I mean, both of those statements are true.
It is. Migraine, can't stress this enough. As someone that doesn't get them, I'm not a migraineur. It isn't just a headache. And I mean, it's a lot more than that, but it isn't. It's also other things and cannot be a headache as well, which is confusing. Sam's just gone.
Yep. Just walked away.
A nail fart. So migraines are severe and painful long-term health conditions, and the migraine attacks themselves can be a whole body experience. Symptoms that can include head pain, also problems with sight, flashing lights, sensitivity to light, sounds, smells, fatigue, nausea and vomiting, or as James calls it, Tuesday morning. And migraine attacks can last for between 4 hours or several days.
My worst one was 5 days. 5 days of migraine not going away is
Jesus.
Worst week ever. Apart from January 2007.
Which is when we met, isn't it?
It is
That's
when we
the joke.
met. That is the joke.
Okay. I get that's a good joke. I've made you. You love that. The prevalence of migraine in general is between sort of 15 and 22% in adults over 18, that is. And it's a much higher prevalence in females, 25%, a quarter, compared to males, which is around the 10% mark. Most common types of migraines are three categories. It's two really. Are in three categories. Migraines without an aura, which is a warning sign like blind spots or flashing lights, and migraine with aura. And the third one is James having his little headaches and not shutting up about it.
I am, and people think I'm the monster. This is the thing. People think I'm the monster. I'm the bully. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Just the first two, with and without aura. And before James moans about. Oh, what about ADHD? No, Alex, this is a bloody ADHD podcast. Brilliant. Well, James. There is mixed evidence on whether this is a definite association between headache and ADHD, and as well as a potential association between headache and the medications for ADHD. As usual, there are gaps in the evidence, and most of the studies focus on children with ADHD. Population studies, James and Sam, have reported that it's a doubled risk of headaches if you have ADHD. And a pretty recent study thinks that there's an increased risk of migraine, but not the tension-type headaches in people with ADHD. Estimated risk of migraine is about 30 to 80% higher if you have ADHD. And migraine is linked to all three types of ADHD. Don't matter which flavour.
But the evidence is mixed.
Yeah, it's always mixed because that's how science works. Some of the papers would be like, on 4 people in a questionnaire, whereas others would be 1,000, and one might say the opposite to the other. So we do go in, James and I do go in and have a look at that power, but it's fucking boring to talk about on a podcast.
Yeah, well, most of the stuff that you say is. Now, obviously, my favourite subject is drugs. Yeah. So what about the drugs, Alex? Have you got any drugs?
I haven't, for headaches, not since I opened my bird sanctuary because the paracetamol.
Oh God.
Oh God. I'm so
Christ.
sorry. Shall I go?
Can you please?
If you could.
That is the worst thing I've ever said.
Yeah.
Headache is a common side effect for ADHD medication, especially in the early stages or when you increase your dose. I got that from methylphenidate. Weirdly, though, methylphenidate in a lot of people might actually improve headache symptoms because it mucks about with serotonin in the brainstem and can cause analgesia or pain relief.
You tell him Beaut. Sorry.
Wow. I feel we need to just clarify that Sam just like slagged off her own mother.
No, it was an in-family joke.
When you
won't
talk
know.
very loud.
When someone's talking loudly, we say, "Who you telling, Beaut?" But nobody outside of our family would know
But
that.
Alex
which
is
why
having
we're both
Alex
giggling.
is having to talk loudly because there's one microphone,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're aware of this fact.
Yeah, it's true. And I do talk loud.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Sorry,
I
Giving
don't
me a
know.
headache. Stimulants in general are thought to be able to help out with headaches, as well as in some cases cause them. Mixed, you see, Sam,
Oh.
with a figure of a third of a reduction in frequency or severity being reported.
I mean, I am already
You love
getting
it.
a headache just sitting with you two. So we're going to take a break and be back in part 2 for some personal reflections. See
All
you in
right,
a
I'll
minute.
see you in a bit.
Alex, hi.
Aight. What's up? Hello, Governor.
Welcome back to episode 74 of the ADHD Adults podcast, ADHD and Headaches. And in this part, we'll talk about personal reflections.
That-
Oh my God, I did it!
She did.
Yeah, coming back in fine.
Yeah, that's the
Four.
only bit you missed out.
Okay.
But still, that was pretty good.
was-
That
Yeah,
was really
that was
good,
pretty good.
wasn't
It was not wildly unprofessional.
No.
No. Yeah.
Who would you like to speak first?
Yeah.
James, you know about migraines. Let's
Oh,
speak to
this
you.
could take a while, couldn't it?
It could. It could. I'll try and keep it short. So
Should we play a game while we're waiting?
Yeah.
I have had migraines since around the time I was first told I was hyperactive. So
Thought you were
about-
gonna
I
say
was going to say.
In January 2007.
Yeah, I know.
I thought he was
that
going
would
to
have been a better joke, and thank you for pointing out that I'm less funny than I think. No, when I was first told that I was hyperactive, at almost exactly the same time I started to get migraines. So I was on a preventative medication which messes around with serotonin levels in the brain when I was 7 years old, and it didn't fucking do anything. And since then, I've had migraines on and off, normally 1 or 2 a month since 7 years old. But about 5 years ago, it got particularly bad. Now, it got to the point where I was having 15 migraines a month, and it was having a massive impact on work because obviously I was missing work. It was having a massive impact on my relationship with Mrs. ADHD because I wasn't spending time with her. And it turns out a massive impact on my mental health because one of my triggers for a mental health crisis is feeling like I'm letting people down or missing out on things. So if you spend 5 days in bed with a migraine and you've missed work and you were going to go out and see friends and you haven't seen friends and you haven't done stuff, that instantly sends me into a spiral of I'm useless, I'm crap, I'm rubbish, I've let people down, and leads to, I am cyclothymic, which is a form of bipolar. It leads to low mood. It's a massive trigger for me. I got to the point where I had to keep a migraine diary. I had to try several preventative medications. This is before I knew I had ADHD. And you have to do that for a set amount of time before you can be kind of upped to the next level, which is seeing the headache nurse at a local clinic. Did that, and she wasn't happy that I'd taken enough preventative meds. And she pointed out the fact that I took a lot of opioids for my back pain. She said, is there any chance that your dihydrocodone, which is known to cause migraines, is causing migraines? Now, I really didn't want to admit that I was addicted to dihydrocodone. I've been taking it for 20 years at the top dose every day.
Wow.
And the fear of,
Taking it away.
yeah, so I was like, nope, not that.
Okay, it must be something else.
Exactly. No, it's not that. Yeah, yes, I'll take a beta blocker, which has like horrible side effects to try and stop the migraines. And obviously left to feeling a bit crestfallen that I wasn't going to get the expensive medication. You know the drug that you didn't invent? That would have
I
made you
know.
millions?
Yes.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law's on it.
Yeah. So I thought, I'm not going to get that for another 6 months. And then I just kind of accepted I've got to stop taking the dihydrocodone. And I did. And I went through withdrawal. I remember I was giving a talk at the British Science Festival, shaking like a shitting dog and bathed in sweat as I went through withdrawal. But when I stopped taking them, the migraines went back down to 2, maybe 3 a month. And they do vary a bit, but they are utterly debilitating. And it's not just the effect that you've got when you're having a migraine. Like I say, for me, it's the impact it has on your life outside of that, because it is the difference in a migraine and a headache. If I've got a migraine, I have to go to bed, take my medication, a triptan, which normally helps, go straight to bed, lights off, earplugs in, hide away from the world until it's gone. And I fucking hate them.
Yeah, I would as well.
What about you, Mrs. ADHD?
I hate them too.
Okay, we've clarified that.
I don't get them, but he does.
And you hate hearing about them.
Yeah, God, I'm just so bored of it. No, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible to see him in so much pain. you know, he's vomiting and I have to clean that up. I don't have to clean
No.
that up. I make him.
Don't bother.
Yeah, no, but he'll be in bed for like 3 days and I'm really lonely. And he's in lots of pain.
I mean, I noticed how that I'm really lonely came before he's in lots of pain.
Yeah. And was an afterthought to make you look good. Definitely.
Definitely.
That'll do.
It's just the boredom. No, but it looks fucking awful. I've never even really suffered from headaches until menopause.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, I'll challenge you there. Having known you for a while, you get headaches all the time. Yeah, but you cope with them very well. So you'll have a headache and you'll work through it. And because my approach to headaches and migraines is they are world ending. Whenever you say I've got a headache, obviously I'll say, take some painkillers, to which you reply, no, because you won't ever fucking take painkillers, will you?
They're not natural,
I
though,
don't
are
know why.
Fuck off. I find it really difficult because I'm like, well, surely you need pain. You've got a headache, because to me they're world ending, but you get them quite a lot.
Do you know, it's weird because when Claire was here yesterday, I said, God, I've got a headache. I never get headaches. And she said, you had one yesterday.
It's a running theme here.
But in my mind, I never get them.
Inattention, writing it down. One of
But
the
the menopause thing was interesting, so talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, so I never had, or at least I think that I never had headaches until I started going through the menopause. And that was the first time that I started getting like quite bad headaches. First time ever. Probably.
You can remember.
That I can remember,
Amazing.
yeah. But yeah, awful. I'm sorry if you suffer from them.
Thank you for that, Mrs. ADHD. What about you, cockface?
No, not at all. Don't get migraines. I've worked in migraine research for years to no avail because of hubris. My lovely brother-in-law does, though, and a couple of weeks ago he gets migraines, and the headaches, the minor part of it, inner ear makes his whole room spin. You know when you're drunk and the room spins?
Yeah.
But like, imagine somersaulting spinning.
No,
So he's
thanks.
crawling around on the floor and he's vomiting
No.
everywhere. He has to go to hospital. And yeah, this is 2-3 times a month for him. as well.
Day.
Absolutely.
No, if you wait and listen to what he was saying
Mm.
instead of interrupting, which I'm not ableistly
A day?
accusing you for, but a day would be quite impressive.
It would, yeah.
Yeah. I was impressed.
Really interesting that methylphenidate gave me a headache, but lisdexamfetamine didn't for about 2 days. And I thought, well, I'll never be able to take ADHD meds. And then it just went away. I was lucky. I mean, some people it stays. But I'm not going to bang on about this because I'm really lucky not to get them. And yours sound fucking awful.
Yeah.
Even though it's you, and that pleases me.
Okay, well, that was short and sweet.
Yeah.
I thought I kept mine relatively short considering it's one of the biggest things that defines me. But that means we've got time to play a game.
Oh, balls.
Amazing.
And obviously, because we're in the same room, it's difficult for me because I haven't got a computer screen with it on.
Oh.
So I printed off the game and then left it somewhere else.
Do you want me to go?
No,
find
it's
it?
okay. I can do this from memory. So you're not going to have a choice because I can only remember one.
Right.
And it's washing machines.
Okay.
Okay, and specifically fabric softener.
Ooh.
So I made a mistake. I'm claiming this, not
Okay,
you. I'm
okay,
claiming
thanks.
it. I made a mistake with the fabric softener this week, and I want you to guess because it was due to either forgetfulness or inattention what it was. Did I A, pour the fabric softener into the soap dispenser, whatever you call it, the powder dispenser?
Yeah.
Okay. That's option A. Poured it into the wrong bit.
Yeah.
Did I, option B, use the wrong conditioner, the one that gives me fat crabs, and therefore I've now got fat crabs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's two options.
No, there's a
There's
third.
three.
There's a
There's
third.
always
I've not
three.
fucked it up this week. So there's all, I mean, how long have we been doing this for? I'd have fucked the last two up. So I told him. Or option 3, did I not tighten the lid on the fabric softener, knock it over, and spill it all over the kitchen?
Oh, that's good. I think that it's not fat crabs because you consider them pets now. They've been with you so long. I think it's not. I think you've been told so many times that you've got the wrong hole that you wouldn't do that anymore. So it's not dispenser. So it's the lid. You left the lid off. Yes. Am I winning? Is it 2-2?
No, it's 2-2.
And then he blamed me
Of course.
and
he
said
blamed
that
you.
I did it.
Sorry. So just to clarify, yes, the lid was not screwed up on the very large bottle of fabric softener, which I clumsily reached for and then spill all over the floor.
Yeah.
It's quite slippy fabric softener,
Yeah.
and was slipping around, and it was a nightmare. And then I didn't blame you, Sam. What I did was say somebody didn't tighten the lid of the softener. It could have been you or me.
I don't use that one.
Very true, but it
Oh,
still could have been there. It's possible. Is
I
it
think
not?
we might not need Sherlock for this, James.
No, we probably don't. So that's 2-2.
Yes, loving this 2023 new me.
Bet you are, because you're not fucking losing it. Right, I'm not really
We did.
depressed.
2-2.
So we're doing it for the year.
Equal.
Yeah.
Except I get choice out of 3, so it's 2/3 of 6. 3. I'm winning.
No, I don't. How can you? Anyway, what? Right, Jesus Christ! Please,
Well
somebody.
done, Al.
Thanks.
Yeah. We're going to take a break because I'm losing my shit, and don't touch me. And we'll be back in part 3 for some spunk trumping, I guess.
Yeah.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Oh.
Spunk trumpet.
Welcome back to episode 74 of the ADHD Adults. As always, this is part 3, where we're talking about ADHD and headaches, stroke migraine. We're going to be spunk trumping, aren't we?
We are.
What are your very, very toppest most tips for headaches and migraines? I mean, not having them is by far the
that's
best
fine.
one. I think. I guess James, we'll start with you, since you actually might have useful tips.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
not.
It's not having them is a good one, Al.
Yeah.
I've not tried that.
Not
yet.
letting them bother you.
Yeah,
Is that
try
the-
yeah, I've not tried not having them. I've not tried, manning up. I've not tried not letting them bother me. I need to maybe adopt those coping
I've
mechanisms.
never seen mine up.
I know, but I was just hoping people would think that you would.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'll say is obviously this: if you start to get migraines regularly, or if you have migraines regularly, it is quite debilitating, and therefore, if you haven't already, go and see your doctor. The over-the-counter medication for migraines is frankly shit. It's basically often paracetamol with a bit of caffeine or a mixture. Frank, I know you think that a man called Frank gave his name to the phrase frankly, and therefore he did it so that people paid him attention. And a man called
Narcissist.
Ernest, apparently a man called Ernest gave his name to earnestly.
What a narcissist.
Wow.
Just inserting his name into sentences and hoping it'll stick.
Ironically, Narcissus was named after Narcissus.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's a lovely bit of
Yeah.
irony.
Should we get back to my
Yes.
Wonder how
sorry,
you get
carry
these
on.
headaches.
Jesus Christ? So the over-the-counter medication, it does work for some, but it really, for a proper migraine, in my experience, it don't touch the fucking sides. Ding. So there are.
Ding.
I did a ding.
Oh,
Oh, did you?
there was a delay.
No. Fucking Jesus! I'm literally getting a headache.
Okay.
There are drugs called triptans, of which there are several. There are the different versions, nasal sprays and tablets. And for me, they're a fucking wonder, because probably 80% of the time I'll take a triptan and that will, within 2 hours, completely take the migraine away and just leave me feeling a bit pissed. So I still can't do everything, but I can certainly get up and do work and see Sam, etc. Absolute wonder drug. If you can get your doctor to prescribe them because you have frequent migraines. Another thing that's really useful, particularly if you have a lot, is keep a migraine diary. Because if you get to the point, as I did, where you need more help, triptans aren't doing it, you need better medication to prevent them, then the kind of rule, if you like, is you have to have more than 15 a month for it to be considered chronic. And therefore, unless you've got some evidence of how many migraines that you get, what are you looking at?
A hair in your ear that I want to pull out.
I'm 47.
Sorry.
Hey,
We're
I
in the
can-
middle of recording a
I know.
podcast.
I know, but I can't stop it. Carry on.
Migraine diary. Oh my God. If you can, dear listener or viewer, understand how the glee that these two cunts are feeling
say
right
that
now.
word.
Yes, I can. Are feeling right now because they know how much they're winding me up. Keep a diary. That also helps you look for triggers, like taking opioids. And therefore, if you know that a particular activity, being dehydrated, which is another thing, record how much fluid you drink. If you know that an activity, Mrs. ADHD is nodding aggressively in my face.
I
Then,
know.
if you know that an activity therefore is a trigger, you can try and remove it. And obviously, the final tip is, don't get addicted to opioids
Yeah,
if
don't
you
do
can.
that.
Don't do that.
Mrs. ADHD,
I was just going to say stay hydrated. That's why I got really excited when you said
right,
stay
you can
hydrated.
still say it.
Stay hydrated, folks.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, Alex.
I was going to ask you, James, actually, how do you feel about this new monthly CGRP injection?
So I know a guy I used to work with who was having exactly the same journey, but about 3 months ahead of me. That he'd been referred to the headache nurse about 3 months ahead. In fact, he said, "This is the place you want to go." And he was put on that drug, and it changed his life.
Yeah.
Completely changed
I've
his
heard
life. He
this,
said
yeah.
he went from
Expensive,
having
though, isn't it?
he went from having kind of 18 migraines a month. Keeps going to plug the laptop in.
Yeah.
Sorry, it should be plugged in. About 18 migraines a month to having practically none.
It's incredible.
I mean, one every few months. It was a wonder drug, and therefore, these medications are about. You can also have Botox for it, but that requires 31 injections in and around your scalp, and apparently it isn't pleasant.
But can't you have them when you have your normal Botox? I am joking. James doesn't age since he was bitten.
That was brilliant. Well done, Al.
So this is obviously the new dynamic of the podcast. I'm no longer the monster. I'm obviously, actually, I don't mind being the fucking victim. So these people won't send in messages saying, "Can you stop bullying Alex? Because it's obvious he doesn't like it, and his pure heart sings through to all of us. And tell him that we all love him. He's a fucking psychopath."
It's pure in the way that it's never been used.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, get back to your spunk trumping. Yes, I would have fucking loved those injections.
Yeah.
Any drugs.
Yeah, same really. So even if it is linked to ADHD, your migraine, there is likely to be a trigger, or James said. What I would add is that there are several. It is very individual, and it's not an exact science. So keeping James's migraine journal, some of the signs I wanted to just point out could be not enough water, as you said, Sam, too much alcohol, emotional stress is a massive trigger, foods, all sorts of foods. So try and look for patterns in that diary. Anything you can write of the day, write down. Write down anything that occurs to you as and around when the migraine comes on, because it's really hard to spot this individual. I wasn't going to tell this story. I recently had to explain to my darling, lovely wife that it isn't a coincidence that her migraine is roughly every 28 days. And she hadn't figured this out for years. I can only assume she's allergic to the moon or something. I don't know what it is. That's my top tip.
Brilliant. Well, to be allergic to the moon.
Yeah, not to it.
Okay. We've done this relatively quickly, and I wouldn't say painlessly. It's been very painful for me. We're going to finish off with a product recommendation of the week. Now, in the script, originally it said forehead tens, because there is actually some evidence that using one of these little tens devices that straps to your forehead helps. For me, it made my migraines worse, of course. Yeah. But Alex has changed it to foreskin tens.
How do you know it was me?
Because it's not going to be her. She never reads the script, for fuck's sake.
Fair point.
So give that a try. Give a forehead tens a try. And I managed to return mine because they've got a return policy if it doesn't work. You don't get all your money back, but I got some of it back.
I use a 10 head fours instead of a 4 head 10.
I use a foreskin 10.
I mean, neither of those jokes are funny. What did they add to
Nothing.
Right.
So we're just having a conversation.
Okay, anyway, that was an incredibly painful episode 74 of the ADHD Adults podcast, Don't Touch Me, where we discussed ADHD and headaches or migraines. If by a miracle you enjoyed any of this utter car crash of an episode, why not support the charity on the link provided? Because otherwise Alex and Sam are going to have to form a really inappropriate ventriloquist act and busk for money.
Should we do that anyway?
Just think about what that implies. It's gross.
Oh.
Back to the dummy. You could be emu.
Yeah, so
fair enough.
Brilliant. Anyway, as usual, contact us via the social media or on our fabulous Discord community. We will see you on Thursday.
See you then, guys.
Bye all.
Trigger warning, klaxon, 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 big klaxon. Trigger warning, klaxon, klaxon,